Hi everybody, welcome to the channel. This is Rob. This time around, I have a big deck to present to you. I have been looking at this deck for about 2 years already, I believe, and I finally went ahead and I got it. And so this will not be an unwrapping personally for you, because I wanted to go through this set on my own and I wanted to study this set a little bit more before I presented it to you, so that I am familiar with what the book has to say and what is really inside of this beautiful box. And so I went ahead and I ordered the Tarot of A.E. Waite and Pamela Coleman Smith. This is the story of the world's most popular tarot. It is by Taschen, and it's with fax miles of the original 1910 tarot deck and A.E. Waite's The Key to the Tunnel. And so I'm going to open this box with you guys, even though I've already opened it. I know what's inside of this box, but we're going to go through this box together. I just ordered this set about a week ago, so I've had about 8 days with this set, and so I've tried to study it as much as I can to be able to present to you this video, to hopefully give you the information that you need. If you've been on the fence about ordering this set, maybe you have never seen this deck or this set, maybe you have seen it but you weren't sure about it, this video is going to tell you everything about this set. I'm going to tell you what I think about this set and if it was really worth the money or not. It is now in the collection, and let's go through this set, you guys, and let me show you what this beautiful limited edition is all about. So the first thing that you have probably noticed is that the box is really huge. Look, if I compare it to a regular tarot card deck here, it's a huge box, and it's also a thick box, you guys, and it also is heavy. So if you have problems with your arms, or if you have problems with your hands, lifting this up could be a challenge for you. But it comes in this really, really cool cover. The whole box is covered in this cloth. It's sort of like a cotton linen sort of cloth. Here it comes with the world card, and it is actually the card. So they actually took an extra card and they glued it to the box, literally, you guys. And if you look carefully, you can see the inconsistencies here. The card is it's like not exactly centered. So I like those things. To me, those are not disadvantages. I paid about $100 for this set, and I thought that for the price, it wasn't too bad. It's not inexpensive, but for everything that I get, I don't seem to be disappointed at all, you guys. This is what the inside looks like. The back of the box, I believe, has nothing. Yeah, so there's nothing on the back of the box. There's nothing on the sides. All that there is the front of the box here, as you can see. And as I mentioned, you guys, it's by Taschen. And I really enjoy Taschen's products, I must really confess. I think they make some really beautiful publications. And in a world that is so digital these days, the fact that you have a book publisher out there, I find it to be absolutely interesting. And the way that Taschen makes their books, it's just so beautiful. They invest the time, they invest the money, and they come out with beautiful projects. This is, I think, one of those that I think came out really good. And I remember the first time that I saw this tarot deck, or that I saw this whole set. I saw it at a window at a huge store in New York City, and I thought, should I get it? Should I not get it? And you guys, this deck came out in October 2023, and it includes a set of cards, and it also includes the original book from A.E. Waite with the description of the cards, the original book that he put out. So it's pretty interesting. So it consists of the book, It consists of the cards and it consists of the key to the tarot by A.E. Waite. And so we'll go on those a little bit later, but that's how this box opens. It is very convenient for opening. It is very convenient for the way that it opens and that it closes. I don't think it's complicated at all. And the only thing is that it's heavy, you guys. So be aware of that. And this is the book. And the book has the same materials that the box has. It has that cloth here, and then it has a card here attached to it. It's the Lover's card. If you remember on the box, we have the World card attached to the box, and it is really a card attached to it, in case you were wondering. You can see sort of the imperfection here. It is not totally centered, the same thing as the box. And so you can see that they've really took time to create this, because it's not just printed in there. They actually glued a card to the book, and there is nothing here on the back. On the here it has the title of the book as well, and materials are wonderful on this book, you guys. You know, you can't go wrong with Taschen most of the times. At least my experience with Taschen has always been a beautiful experience. And so I did not get disappointed with this book. Now, I did pay a pretty good amount of money for this deck. What is a pretty good amount of money? I paid $100 for this deck. And honestly, I don't think that it's very expensive for what I get. I see a lot of decks out there that are costing $150, $170, and all you get is a talk box and a deck of cards. So this for $100, I can't complain. I got a lot of material, I got a lot of information, and I got a lot of quality for what I paid for $100. So I don't know how Taschen does it, but it's good for us, you guys. Here's the table of contents of this book. You have an introduction, how to use the book, the wonderful and the unexpected tarot for you. Then you have the Arthur E. Waite, the tarot and his way of ascent. Pamela Coleman Smith, the tarot and the eyes within. The history of the Waite Smith Tarot. And of course, here it gives you all of the writers' names, not to discredit anybody. The Magic Mirrors, Hidden Wonders of the World's Most Popular Tarot by Rachel Pollack. And then it continues here. The Major Arcana, the Minor Arcana, and then a Talent of Destiny, Spreads, Personal Growth, and here you have the appendix, you guys. And so really beautiful paper. Colors are pretty good, and the size of the book is pretty good, as you can see. I've never had my camera so wide as I have it right now. Usually I'm just focusing on cards, and here I really needed to do something else, because the box is big, as I mentioned before, and heavy, and the book is also pretty big. So as I mentioned, I've had this deck for about 8 days, and I've been able to read a lot of this, you guys, of what's in here, and I can tell you that this book is really well written. And when I say well written, I mean it's written in a way that we can all understand it in 2025, 2026. This is not an outdated book. This is a brand new book that was written in 2023, 2024, and that still applies today, 2025, 2026. And so it really talks about it gives you a history of the tarot, has wonderful pictures. The printing is absolutely superb on this book, as you can see. And this is part of the whole introduction here. And they compare a lot of the tarot cards with some famous artists, such as Pablo Picasso here. They also talk about the evolution of tarot, and they talk about how we have been able to utilize tarot today, not in a way of how we always saw tarot, or at least how generations past us saw tarot, or tarot as fortune tellers. And no, this book really tells you that tarot is used today by people of all ages, and it tells you that there's a lot of people out there that use tarot that don't say that they use tarot. And how it helps them psychologically, how it helps them on reflection. Tarot today is being used the same as yoga or meditation exercises, breathing exercises, stretching exercises. This is how people are using tarot. And although tarot has been around for hundreds of years, it was not until the Rider-Waite-Smith was made that tarot really took off, and that people really started getting even more interesting in tarot because they were seeing images that they could actually relate to, and they were not so complicated as some of the earlier images that we have seen. So really, really interesting book. Really written in a way that if you're starting with tarot, this is a really great book to think about getting, well, the whole set. And if you are seasoned with tarot, this is also an absolute gem to have in your collection. So I think that this is an absolute wonderful addition to my collection. Here's a little bit about Pamela Colman Smith and who she was, how she lived her life, and what inspired her to make these cards. And it goes on about her a little bit more. Then you go into the history of the Waite-Smith Tarot, and here's when they explain how really it was after this deck was created that tarot just took off, and it took off for people of all ages from all around the world. The Rider-Waite-Smith, it seems to be the most popular tarot deck out there until today. And so it's super interesting, and it has beautiful pictures and beautiful graphics, and it really goes into depth about not only tarot from back then, you know, and I'm not only talking about Rider-Waite-Smith, I'm talking about Renaissance times, I'm talking about Middle Ages times, but it talks about tarot today and the Rider-Waite. And then it goes, of course, into the major arcana. And I really do like the way that they've set up the writing for the major arcana. And this is the Magician, as you can see. And what they do here is they give you a picture of the card, which is a very big. And then here it goes into the description of the card. And it talks about the symbolism in the cards. It talks about the colors in the cards. It talks about what the flowers represents. It talks about what he's holding on his hand. And it tells you why those things are there and what they mean according to the RWS. But you know, one of the most important things that I learned about reading this book was that what we really need to follow is our intuition, and that, you know, 1,000 eyes can see this card, but you are seeing this card differently than everybody else is seeing this card. So when you see this card, you really need to hear yourself and what you're seeing. And that is the most important thing. And this is how this book sort of approached me, not telling me that I needed to learn everything that was in here, or that I didn't need to study everything that I was in here. You guys, I was really not good at school. So whenever I felt like I needed to do something, or whenever I felt like somebody was imposing something on me, I automatically drew away. And so I didn't feel that with this book. I felt that this book actually drew me in instead of rejecting me. So it's written in a way that is very friendly, and if tarot is a subject that you're interested in, this is definitely a book that you're going to want to read. And whether you're starting or whether you're seasoned, once again, I think it's a gem for everybody. If you're starting with tarot, I think this would be an amazing kit to have. Of course, it costs a little bit more money, and it is a big set. So if you're starting and you don't feel like having this huge thing all around you, then, you know, maybe you just want to get a small sort of $15 deck, and that's fine. I started with a $15 RWS deck from US Game Systems, and it was totally fine. But, you know, now I can treat myself to this sort of thing, and this is something that I really enjoy. This is something that I really like, and so I've treat myself to things like this. And so let's get back to this, because once again, here you get an illustration of the card, and then here you get into what they want to tell you about the arcana, or this is the major arcana. This is the Empress in that, for that matter. And so it reads here, and please feel free to pause your device at any given point, and you can take a look at that and read how that goes. But you see here, it goes about into the details that you see. Why is she wearing that dress? What does this mean? What does this river and the water here mean? And so, you know, it sort of explains the card to you. There is her crown, and crown of stars and laurel wreath. Light of the stars and power of the earth. We can mobilize sense and senses, spirits and feelings to express what in with our mind and crown it with success. After you have all that explanation of the card itself, then it comes with the keywords here. And for example, this is what it's about. So number one, the subjects touched on the Empress are often very personal. She may motivate you to pay attention to old questions and new insights. If you take notice of what particularly moves and affects you, you are already deep in the topic. Number two, what attitude helps? So this is when you get the card, right? There's a queen in every one of us. I really like that. Number three, for your next step, the Empress prompts you to behave as you wish your best female friend, your dream woman, a good mother, or a beloved daughter would behave. And number four, the Empress gives you the opportunity to open up personal attractiveness and irresponsibility. The Empress warns against having a heart of stone. Number six, the Empress at the beginning of a development, you make space for yourself to evolve. Number seven, the Empress during a development, you set up your own realm. You lay down rules and stick to them that bring you well-being and joy. And so I like this because, you know, when the Empress appears, or when any of this card appears, then you want to know how to apply that card in specific. And so when I saw that they had it written like this, I thought that is really interesting and very practical, by the way. The number eight, the Empress at the conclusion of a development, you follow the flow of your energies, your inner inclinations. You find and create appropriate ways to express how moved and affected you are, and to also provide support to others. Number nine, as a card of the day, which I pull every single day, you guys. I pull a card of the day to kind of see what energy there is there. What kind of energy is there for me? As a card of the day and quintessence, when you draw this card, look for ways to express what moves you and what you love. And for love and relationships, it's about self-love, that you yourself love. And for your occupation and creativity, flower to the people, flower power for all. It's really practical, you guys. And then it goes on like that for all of the major arcana. Informative and easy to read. And if we go to the minor arcana here, it also gets really, really interesting. It gives you the four elements, or the map of the soul, right? The minor arcana. And so here we go into the wands. And so first it gives you a picture of all of the wands. And for example, this one, two of wands, feasibility, half measures, going all out. So it just kind of gives you a brief description and some keywords of the card, that you can see what those cards mean. And then it gives you a little bit history of what the wands are all about, which is super interesting as well, in case you were wondering what the wands were all about. And then it goes into each individual card. And so this one would be the Queen of Wands. It gives you once again a description of the card. Then it goes into a little bit of history and where, for example, the cat came from, because we usually see a cat there. And so it just gives you a little bit of information of why the sunflowers, why the cat, and why this symbol here on the back, which is really good information. And then it gives you the correlation here. For example, the queen and the other cards of the wands. And so it gives you here the other court cards, and it gives you a brief description or some keywords on the cards. The Queen of Wands with reference to the 0 of the major arcana, which would be our Fool card. And so I thought that that was also really interesting. And then the Queen of Wands and the other queens. And so it gives you information on how they all relate. And so this is really, really cool, because I've heard so many people so many times saying, Rob, I get so confused by the court cards. And I think that this book kind of lays it out in an easy way for you to understand how they work. And so if you're interested in that, this is definitely a book that would be useful. And then here it gives you the keywords again, exactly the same as for the major arcana, which is what we just read, you guys. So this is what it's about, what attitude helps. And so let me just read one for the major arcana, which would be our Queen of Wands. And this is what it's about. The topic here is your skillful handling of all kinds of fire forces. It's not just about some specific aspect of willpower or action, but about the whole gamut of your mastery as an energetic being. And so then it continues to the other ones, which I've already read. And so that's how it goes for all of the minor arcana. Once again, very useful, very, very practical, really a great book. I found it so easy and so wonderful to read, because I felt like I was reading something. You know, there is so many tarot books out there that I like, but some of them were written in the 70s and the 80s. And although that's okay, there's a lot of information there. One of the things that I liked about this book is that it was written in the last 2 or 3 years. And so I found that pretty refreshing. And I think that it doesn't matter when the book is written. It all matters on how you understand the book and how you can read that book. And so for me, this book was a lot easier than a lot of the other books that I've read before. And so, but you know, so complete it's not. I'm not going to say that this is a totally complete book, but I must say that it is pretty complete. And then here, it gives you some spreads, which I absolutely loved. And so here's that card of the day, selecting a card of the day, spreads for all occasions, decisions making, aid. There is a what the future holds, how things go from here, quick advice, taking stock, which are just all sort of spreads that you can already find online, right? I mean, that's what I'll go back to that, what I was saying before, the fact that we're having still books around, it's so precious to me, and that we're still having cards around and that they're still printing them is so precious, because I don't know how the future looks. And so, they say that this is a limited edition, so I don't know how much longer they will produce it. It didn't come with an authenticity card. I wish it would have come with an authenticity card, but it didn't. So anyway, there's more spreads here. There's Breaking Out, The Path of Desires, Relationship Tarot. So a lot of really great, the Celtic Cross, of course, a lot of really great spreads there. Then you have the personal growth with the Waite Tarot, and some really, really wonderful writing that just, if you have time, you serve yourself a cup of tea and then you just sit down with a little bit of music and you read this book whenever you have the time. That's how I did it and how I was able to really enjoy this book, you guys. And so that is the book in a nutshell. I hope that sort of gives you a good idea of what the book is all about. And I felt like we really needed to cover the book more than we do usually with any normal deck, because it's a huge book and it's Taschen, and so this is their major thing, the fact that they did a book. So let's continue with the rest of the kit, you guys, and let me show you what else is inside of the box. And so when we open the box, it's a huge box, and then we get this small space here where you have the Key to the Tarot by A.E. Waite. And so we'll take it out, and you can also take it out like this, of course. So it has a piece of cloth there to help you take it out. On one side goes the cards, and on the other side goes the key to the tarot. And here are the two items, you guys. The Key to the Tarot by A.E. Waite. This one comes sort of old style, right? Do you see that? That sort of reminds me of those law books or journals where they used to take the signature and put documentation in the old days, at least in the 70s and the 80s. That's sort of what this little book reminds me of. It has a hardcover. It has gold here, which is really beautiful, embossing. It's really, really done well, and this little guy is done really, really well. I like it. I must confess that I haven't really studied it as much as I want to, and I'm going to sort of take my time with this little book and find out what how this writing looks and what he wanted to convey in this little book. So I guess this was his manual to the tarot cards at that time. So really, really interesting. I'm going to definitely sit down and read that. But this was the first sort of manual that came out for the RWS, the one that A.E. Waite wrote, you guys. So, and then of course we have the cards here. And what I thought we would do with the cards, because this is supposed to be a version of the A.E. Waite, Pamela Coleman Smith, from the times. It is supposed to be one of those replications that is supposed to look exactly how the deck looked back then when they made it. So I thought to give you some kind of a reference, I would compare it side to side with the Tarot Original 1909 from Lo Scarabeo. And so that would give you a little bit of an idea of what the difference is. Maybe you have this tarot deck. A lot of the times the colors on the camera don't come out as when you see them live. And so that's why I also thought that it would be a good idea to sort of compare the two decks and side by side so you can see what they look like. And so let's do this, you guys. Let me show you what these cards look like. And so this one is the one that comes with the deck. As you can see, it is a complete black box, beautiful gold letters here. It also gives you that sort of feeling that this is leather, but it is not leather, it's carton. And it's fine because it's really well done. Fast Mile of the 1910 edition, it reads here, you guys. And it opens up like this, and then the cards come out like this. And this is going to be our kit deck. And this one here is going to be the Lo Scarabeo 1909 original. And so here you can see perfect what those colors look like. You can see perfectly. This is a much thicker deck than this deck right here is not so thick. So what does that mean for cardstock? Cardstock means that this one in particular, which is the A.E. Waite and Pamela Coleman Smith kit by Taschen. This one is a lot thicker and a lot sturdier, you guys. And this one is thinner. Also, the Pamela Coleman Smith or the Taschen version is a little bit thicker. They are the same height. So, and right there you can see those color differences, you guys, right away. Let's go through these decks and let me show you what these guys look like. Yeah, so we can see that this is brighter. This is a lot more tamed. This one here. Also, you can see that the lines are not so thick. So this looks a refiner image of this one, which is the 1909 Lo Scarabeo. And probably I won't say much because many of us are familiar with these images, and so but you'll be able to see the colors, and I'll be able to also, and I'll be commenting on them because, well, I like to comment on them. And these are the back of the cards, of course, and they're both reversible. This one has the lilies and this one has this sort of a pattern. I call it a giraffe pattern. I have a couple of other decks that come with this pattern. Here's the Hierophant. Here's the Lovers. Here's the Chariot. There's the Strength. And no, I mean, did you see the differences? I mean, I see some of the differences. I mean, the drawings are pretty much the same, but look, for example, you guys, this tree here has a little black stain here, and this one doesn't have it. And so those are the little tiny things that if you really look, you see the differences, right? And so that is just, for example, one little difference there. This is the Hermit, completely different cards, really. Of course, and this one is also bigger, and this one is thinner. Here's the Wheel of Fortune. Here is our Justice card. You can see the coloration here is a lot more saturated than here. Here you have the coloration a little bit more evened out. And honestly, if you ask me which one I like better, I like this version better. This one is easier to handle, and it's lighter than this one, and it's smaller than this one. So for hand purposes, maybe this one is better, but I like this cardstock a lot more than this cardstock. So this is like really sturdy cardstock, and I was really happy when I got the cardstock for the Taschen version. And I got the cards because I didn't know if they were going to be good or not. And, you know, they turned out to be really, really good, like everything else that Taschen does. I should be a spokesperson for Taschen. But they do really good publications. They do really, really good materials. And I really like their projects. So I'm lucky enough. This is the Death card, of course. I'm lucky enough to have a Taschen store where I live, so I can pass by and see what they have inside, and just going in there is such a treat. Temperance. Here's the Devil. Yeah, different colors, you guys, and if you look really close, then you'll find more than just color differences. The Tower, the Star, the Moon, the Sun, the Judgment, the World. We finally come to that cycle, and we start with the Ace of Swords here. I see complete difference here. You can see that this is lighter, you know, and it's really amazing what colors can do, and what how much they speak to one. Because when I'm seeing these two cards and I'm seeing two completely different colors, I'm thinking, yeah, that's the importance of color. There's the Three of Swords. This one is a darker Three of Swords. It seems like this one is a little bit darker. Here is the Four of Swords. The Five of Swords. There's that Six of Swords and traveling to calmer waters. You see here how this picture is different here where the trees are, and then this picture is also here different. They're both different, you guys. Even though we're looking at the same drawings, these drawings look different to me. So this is the Seven of Swords. And the Eight of Swords. I like this Eight of Swords a lot better than this one. And, you know, I'm not a big fan of the RWS. I really must confess. But I grew up with the RWS. You can say it like that. You know, this was my starter deck. This is my home. Whenever I'm doing RWS, I'm going back home. So for me, this is how I learned. My first tarot deck was the RWS from US Game Systems. You know, the $10 pack that they used to have back then. And I didn't have anything else. Now I collect these things, but back then that's all I had. And so I started learning with the RWS. There was nothing else for me. We're having a Queen of Swords here and a Knight of Swords. So here we go. So here's the two queens together. Sorry about that. I needed to put the cards sort of in order, and sometimes they don't cooperate. Here's the King of Swords. And now we're going into our Pentacles, and this is the Ace of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles. More intense colors on this one. I can really see the black popping out on the Lo Scarabeo and on the Taschen. I don't see it so direct or intense, I should say. Here as well, I see these colors being a little bit more intense than the Taschen. Here is the Five of Pentacles, and you can really see a major difference here, I think, you know, especially when you see the clothing here that she has on her back, and then you see it here. This one doesn't seem to be so detailed like this one here, so it's super interesting to see that. And I wonder why as well. You know, like when I'm seeing that and I'm asking myself, why is that? Why is it different? Why is it different? If you guys know this, let me know, please, because I still learning a lot of things, you guys. I am not a guru, but you know, that's why I love it when you guys comment, and I love it when you guys tell me and give me information, because I learned a lot from you guys. So please share your experiences, share your knowledge with me. I really appreciate when you do that. And so when you write me, let me know what you think. There's that Eight of Pentacles, and he's really mastered his craft, didn't he? And there's that Nine of Pentacles, and you know, this one looks a little bit more intense than this one. The colors come out brighter on this one. Here we have the Ten of Pentacles. Here we have our Page of Pentacles, of course, and you can see that the yellows are a lot more brighter on the Lo Scarabeo deck. Here we have our Queen of Pentacles. Here we have our King of Pentacles, and here you can see that the face is a little bit more detailed, and everything seems to be a little bit more detailed on the Taschen than the Lo Scarabeo. Although I must say that not every card is like that. Some of them are different. This is the Ace of Cups. This is the Two of Cups. Now we're into the cups, of course. And here we have the Three of Cups. A celebration is going on. And what a different sort of celebration. Here you have a blue sky, and here you have a green sky. And a blue sky and a green sky makes a huge difference for me. You know, when you have a cloudy day, or when you have sort of a hazy day, or it's a totally blue sky, those things make a big difference in my day, you guys. And so, you know, those are subtle differences, but at the same time, they make a huge impact. So, and once again, we're having it here. We have the Four of Cups, and here we see blue skies, and here we see sort of a greenish, overcast, sort of dirty air sort of sky. And here not. Here I'm seeing blue sky. So I think it makes the pictures and the emotions when we read them come out differently depending on the colors that we're looking at. So here you have the Five of Cups. Here you have a much clearer sky, and here you have a more saturated sort of a sky. Here you can see that maybe it's more like nighttime coming more than daytime. Here we have the Six of Cups, and once again the sky is different. Here we have the Seven of Cups, and this one tends to be on the green side. This one tends to be on the blue side. There is the Eight of Cups. We have our Nine of Cups. We have the Ten of Cups. We have the Page of Cups. Now we have the Knight of Cups. And once again, with that sky, I'm seeing blue here, and I'm seeing sort of a yellowish sort of a sky. Here we have our Queen of Cups, and this one just looks so much more detailed than this one. And this one is the Lo Scarabeo, this is the Taschen. Here's the King of Cups again. Here's the King of Cups. And we are jumping into our last suit which is the ones. Ace of Wands, Two of Wands, Three of Wands, Four of Wands, and this is one of those happy cards, right? Which one looks happier? So here, this one is more yellow. This one is more of a golden yellow. So this one gives me more of a daylight, sort of more active, sort of a feeling. This one gives me more of a tamed sort of feeling, like maybe this celebration is going on in late afternoon. This one is going on, you know, like at 12 o'clock or 11 o'clock in the morning, which makes a huge difference. Here we have the Five of Wands, and this one has blue sky. This one has sort of that greenish, bluish sort of a sky. Here's the same thing with our Six of Wands with victory. Here we have the Seven of Wands. Here we have the Eight of Wands, and big difference, right? Even the color of the wands here is completely different than here. And so we're looking at same images, but we're seeing and experiencing completely different things. This is the Nine of Wands. This is the Ten of Wands. It's too much, right? And when I look at both these pictures, this one is a lot more intense than this one. Here's our Page of Wands. And I can't tell you that I like one more than the other. And if I did, now that we're coming to the end, and I don't like it when I speak before I should, because usually I don't really like to give an opinion after or through the walkthrough. I like to give my opinions at the end, but I can't tell you that I like one more than the other. I mean, when it comes to cardstock, I like the Taschen better. When it comes to the pictures, I don't know which one I like better. So this is the Queen of Wands. And this is the King of Wands, finally in the end. And so, you guys, if you're thinking about how this deck shuffles really, really well. It is a thicker cardstock, of course, than the other one that I just showed you, the Los Carabeo Tarot Original 1909, but I have a feeling that this deck is going to last longer. Now, will I be using this deck for divination? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not, but I have so many other RWS copies in our collection that are a lot less expensive than this one, that I don't know if I would really take this one out and work with this one, because it is a limited collection, right? And so when I do a spread with this deck, it also spreads really well, you guys. And so no sense going back to the cards. I think we've all seen these cards, and I think you know what these cards look like. And so, you guys, that's the tarot of A.E. Waite and Pamela Coleman Smith. That's the Taschen version of this whole kit. I am so happy that this deck is in the collection. Really, I'm glad that I didn't hesitate anymore to buy this deck. And so I'm glad that I have it, and I'm glad that it's in the collection, and I'm glad that I'm able to read this wonderful book and shuffle these wonderful cards. I am not disappointed with the quality of this product. This product is absolutely amazing, and I recommend it 100%, you guys. So with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing if you do decide to subscribe to the channel. And as I always say, until the next time.